All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. So I wanted to wear a lighter gear. Just wasn't interested in throwing all the gear on and wiring it up, and so it took me a little while to prepare those poles that they have on that plastic shelving from Walmart. I cut one of those down. I had one that was cracked. I put some Velcro on it so I can put my phone on. I couldn't find my cross. They finally cursed that thing away. And I'm sure it's somewhere. I'll find it eventually. I know it's close by. I just can't remember where I put it. So again, that may have been the psychological torture operation where I said, "Hey, I'm taking photos. That way, I can report to you, the law enforcement, that this is what it looked like when I left, and that's what it looked like when I came back." It looked like one of the numbers from the combination was showing on the safe. Again, this is just investigative uh, information. It isn't like, oh my God, that's what's happening. So again, don't let them tell you that it's something else. How you doing? Great. So they slammed the door. That was surely either timed or actually I maybe had moved up and they weren't fast enough. Not sure, but I'm almost positive. Again, there's a small chance that it's only Satan, but well, obviously Florida's having trouble. Now, Florida may not appear to be in it or maybe appear to be in it. I can't tell you, but again, they were a big part of this. I'm not letting my life move forward while I was there and then hiring all these people. So, what I'm suspecting is now, I'm not telling you Mr. Beast is part of it, but Mr. Beast may be the radicalization and part of the, indoctrination because that's essentially what it is. They're getting people into this idea that that kind of money is worth anything. And of course, cops have already agreed to that. And then they got position, whether it be high or low or most likely all of the above. That's how the cop makes his money, and he gets to make his money or she gets to make her money that way as long as she lets other people make the money the same way. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I mean, there's already people having trouble all across the globe. Again, it's the hell exists because they go, well, look at us, we're still millionaires and billionaires. Hell exists because of that. Because this planet does not rule the criminals, the ne'er do wells, the evil down. So hell exists because when they exit the planet, they've never paid for anything. It's almost better to actually go to prison for a few years if you're doing that kind of thing. So the whole Mr. Beast psychology is this money and we'll do anything to get it. And then also Mr. Beast is saving the planet. Well, that there's questions in all of that because he's addicted to the whole machine that he's running. So the question is that where his focus is, which is not really charity. It's just being that thing and having that machine. Right? Again, Paul explained charity. That's why they're trying to get rid of religion, and anybody in religion probably doesn't even consider that scripture as having the weight and the information that I speak about. Because I go, well, we're doing charity, right? I paid some money. Well, Paul said charity is not charity unless it has love. I'm sure you love being a devil, but that's not the love that we're speaking about. What is that in the scripture? Demonic love. You have agape love. That's lust, I guess. They're not testing me. One of the things they are doing, I mean, they are testing me for like Project Artichoke to try to make that happen. One of the things is but see, you didn't lock your door, so we're trying to help you. That's why we did that, so you'll increase your security, buddy. So that's trying to trigger Stockholm syndrome. And some of the people that do operate, that's how they were brought in, by using Stockholm syndrome or modified Stockholm syndrome. Now, buddy, go and post hate on Elon and show us you're really our friend. That's really who they are. So Elon has been manipulated. I see the signs of like the whole operation. Again, they go, "Oh man, Elon has mental illness." Yeah, your mental illness, your spycraft installed mental illness. So we have hope, we being God and I and heavenly hosts, that we can shift Elon somehow. I don't know the final plan. He doesn't look like he's doing too well, but somebody like that Hashem can use if we can get him somewhere. Now, the idea that he's a Christian like Trump doesn't work, because then it's like a game. Oh yeah, let's just say we're Christians. And I'm asking, you don't have to be. Again, they're the ones that create the illusion that I'm like some insano Christian and I'm going to rape everybody and require everybody else to be devout. I mean, it's like spycraft, KGB, CIA, standard operation to put that kind of garbage out there. But yeah, if you receive the Mr. Beast payment, you'll accept it, right? Now, there's nothing I'm doing that's causing it. What, they have coffee here? I didn't have coffee here. They have coffee at the front. That's nice of them. They got a coffee bar. Is that like oatmeal? Or it's tea, isn't it? I think it's tea. They had some great stuff at Extended Stay America. It's almost a reason to stay, at least for a deputy marshal. Look at that. Look at all those munchies. This is the greatest. That wasn't by accident. Just based upon how that works. Yeah, they've been trying to push that. No, it's not my mind. Again, you have to get into their mind. Cops say that all the time. They know what they're doing to possess a person's mind. Or not possess it if they're actually a good cop. I don't know. I think it's good, or actually good cop. No, none good. No, not one. Because at this point, they may tell them who to accept as a candidate, and if you're a good person, they put you out. They don't accept you, or say you had sex with a dog. So again, on my phone, the camera is actually part of the screen. And if you know how spies work, they would make sure it's like that because most people won't cover it up. No, they're not doing it to save children. They're here to play the game of making it dangerous for children and then saying they're here to save children and only save, a portion of the children and the rest are sacrificed to Satan. It's a hate your neighbor program. That's what you're all running. There's no doubt. But that's what you're teaching people to do and have been for decades. And you have been for decades. You're has-beens. You're going to hell, all of you. You're causing other people to fall, all of you. So when you read the scripture, a lot of Christians, it's only us. Well, God counts people that would have been there had you not did what you did to them. Do you understand how God can calculate the future absent your evil influence, all of you? They would own your churches, and you all know it because you're all nobodies. Except for devils, of course. Devils, demons, antichrist, witches, and sorcerers. And now that you brought it up and said my neighbor accosted me with that. Is that what you're saying about me? Well, is it you? But I didn't go there. because I'm just speaking about it. There's obviously a certain number of my neighbors that are part of it. And that number could be growing. The further Trump goes to hell and his cronies go to hell, and the less they get anywhere, the more money they'll spend to send people around me, plus the others, because they're part of the criminal enterprise, whether it be Democrat, Republican, independent, or whatever. Trying to get it so they can rule for 40,000 years. Now, there is a little bit of an issue. Harris needed a 10% lead for it to be comfortable because they are going to cheat. The Republicans are going to cheat. Just tell yourself it's going to happen. That's what the whole thing Trump was doing from the last go round. It's an active measure because now it doesn't matter if we cheat because they cheat. Right. Told you that's what they're going to do with it. Then there's the other part of it. They're going to suppress the vote. There are people right now in Overland Park that will not vote because cops follow them around for a week, a month, a year. To me, that's a reason to go out and vote. But it's not just Overland Park, it's the whole nation. That's what these programs are for, to steer the vote. It's not some intelligence-driven program deciding this person is going to offend next. Then you have to ask them, why is the offender, the actual offenders, living great lives while you're going against innocent people and great Americans that were great soldiers and great airmen and great Navy people and great law enforcement officers and great help to law enforcement. You don't want the help. Yeah, okay. You know why? Because you're a crook and you take money from crooks and you don't want anybody busting that crook, including sex trafficking. We don't want his help because he's a crook and he raped his all lies. Every last one of you will go to hell for that. Each one of those simple lies. That's how they get into somebody's life. Then they sexualize them, like that chief in the Go-Go Beach case, by looking at what happened to his life. Remember, the holy-looking ones are going to be with Satan. They're going to be with the beast. They're going to appear as ministers of righteousness, and that doesn't have to mean that they're spiritual. Righteousness and angels of light. So again, they are going to appear sinless. Because he's speaking him up as being sinless. So that's one I'm not 100% sure about. That's where Trump feels. Because Trump just may be mentally ill. Maybe like Adolf Hitler, somebody that was possessed by other demons who made the real money and didn't go to prison for it. That's what Trump should have figured out. Why are the people around you that are part of what you're part of not going to jail? No, I believe at this point Trump's going to go to jail. I told you things can change. You have to understand, you have to read what the judges are saying when people go in front of the judge. You're harassing them with psychological operators. That's why that woman got 9 years. When in Georgia or wherever it was, Arizona or Georgia. You harassed that judge with your psychological operators the same way you did it to me. He got a chance in court to get one of your people, and he did it. That's not a 9-year case. I mean, he could do it, obviously. Just like a 3-year case. Now, I don't know what their probation and parole is, because it might be a 3-year case when it's all said and done. So you got to understand, a lot of those judges have been harassed online, people coming by saying stuff about them, trying to fear them and extort them. They just can't wait to get this. That's how a judge gets his revenge or her revenge during sentencing. They just sit back and wait. Okay, yeah. Dunk on me. Right. I've only been a judge 30 years, right? Dunk on me. I told Trump to get away from those people. So he's fighting to get back in office when he could have stayed in office if he just stayed somewhat clean. We may not even have had COVID. Something may have just clicked and worked for him. He lost the protection of God. Well, why did God keep him alive? Anybody else? Not just God. The Democrats are the last people that want to get rid of Trump. The last people. They spent years doing it. Like that's why Nikki Haley said, "Look, you don't want Trump running," because she had the information that they have. She won't release it because she's a Republican, but she said, "Look, you want me, not him." She knew. They did their opposition research, and she was a gentle lady about it. Because she's a Republican, she won't want to tell on a Republican like that. I mean, Trump's one of the few people that do that. Because as soon as Trump wants to tell on you, because you can tell Trump's deep state, this is how deep state handles it. As soon as they want to do you, then you're no longer law enforcement, you're no longer a Republican, you're a rhino. That's how they play the game. And Trump knows that. So Nikki Haley going to be. That's why don't pick Trump. Trump's not going to last. And you know, I mean, he's spending some serious money to get elected. And she knew Trump has an army of crooked cops everywhere. And they just, a lot of these people have just dropped off. You can keep. Again, Trump's not calling the shots. Putin and some others are, including drug extractors. Now, Trump, you show you can do what you. There's a certain number of people that they're going to arrest, and a lot of things just so they can put stuff in their head, like rob a bank, home invade, rape. They get. There's always going to be people to arrest because they're going to make sure there are. And all the other people that have money and are real crooks, cases and try to put them on. I'm putting a case on you. You're guilty. And just to extort that person. Might be a representative. Might be anybody. Well, if they keep doing that, you have to your body depletes, and your mind depletes, so they can actually steer. Plus, if I go up to like 10 other officers, they go, hey. What they do is they start calling you that. Mind to it. In other words, you can't get married, you can't go to church, you have to be a criminal for their system. So they are in the temples of God, they are in the governments of God, or I wouldn't say government, in the governments, as if they are God, steering people's lives using that high-level Project Artichoke type psychological operation. And they're well compensated here on earth, but they'll pay for it in hell. But that's why they took over the church, because they were afraid that message would get out. I think I might be a little loud here. Try to turn this down. All right, here we go again. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Doesn't make any sense. I got to turn it all the way down, don't I? Test. Actually, I got it working now, I think. Test, 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 test. Actually, you're going the wrong way again. Test, 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 test. So here we go again. Buckle up. See, but it wasn't like that when we started speaking. It did something there. It changed the sensitivity or something. All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. Test, 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 test. This is not making any sense. Right. Test, 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 test. Oh, what I'm saying is making sense. Oh, yeah. Makes the most sense of anything anybody's ever said in quite a long time. Test, 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 test. All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Try that. I got a tape, so I'm not accidentally moving it. I'm gonna go down this road, see what they got down here. Looks like a red snowman or something. Well, Halloween, I guess. Well, cops running like a beast, like Mr. Beast operation. You get money from them. It's not an honest program. Not at all. But it's all like, windfall money for people. And then they take care of them for life. And some of them are from criminal families anyway. As soon as the people show up with the money, then they know what to do because their parents are the same piece of garbage. What incarnation is that? It's red. It says boo. It looks like it's a pumpkin snowman. It's a pumpkin snowman. It's like it's a blow up, but it's got like LED lights inside of it. That's pretty cool. I think he's got a crown on him too. King Pumpkin. Boy, it's real quiet out here. I guess because it warmed up, because the pollen starts up again and people get all. So yeah, there's possibilities that people are looking through cameras and listening on microphones, spying, but to the level of stealing money from a armored car cash supply point or a jewel heist. Spy sold out, man. And, wherever, whenever. They have that forbidden technology. They make money from it, personal money. And in some cases, might be out there doing it in a retirement. What is that movie called? The old guys that Goodfellas or something. You think all the money, what's the word I'm looking for? Embezzled from the war operations would be enough. I mean, they're greedy, man. They could have 10 million and they want 20 million. They have 20 million, they want 40 million. And they'll kill for it. Let's see what time is it. Yeah, I think it's only going to be a half hour a night. Kind of hungry. I want to eat something. I got to decide what I want to do with those front panels because I can use either side of them. And I don't know for sure how I'm going to do it, but I'll make my decision tomorrow, and that's it. And then I'll get the front part of it done. Ordered some additional brackets that should connect the sides to the front. A little leery. It's in the hands of the U.S. Postal Service. What is this? It's supposedly coming early, but it'll probably come late. But it actually came early, so it's like a scam. Well, we were going to deliver it early, but so he'll get it by the day after we were supposed to deliver it. That's kind of weird shit they do. They're weirdos. Yeah, you want to be part of it, you're part of it, all of you. But, people aren't going to walk around going, I'm a fan of the U.S. I mean, if you drug somebody, that might happen. It seems like the drug has departed for a little while. Maybe for good. Anybody take him out or her out? I mean, I don't know. Some people, they'll play the game, but they don't accept drugging people. Boo, boo, boo. The pumpkin snowman. So it's just like in El Salvador, they have to be careful that they don't grow fond of living an oppressive government. In other words, you always try to move your people forward so there doesn't need to be any type of government like that. And that's the key, or I guess the justification for some of it. And that would be to say that in the future, you're going to fix everything and make it work for everybody. What do I think about people breaking in? Well, they might be there and may not be there. And if they overcame my security system, then fine, God will handle it. I mean, there's a long list of people that have to be destroyed and taken to hell, and God will do it in God's due time. I mean, God tells me right now, He wishes He could do it right now, but the planet is that far gone. But God can wait. Like I told you, the worst thing in the world is to be a rich person and not suffer for evil acts and just have this great rich life. It's the worst thing to be because you have to go to hell. We're like Christ. We go to church and own churches and do charity. It's mafia, man. I know it's mafia. I can tell what mafia is. Government became mafia. It's fine. Hopefully there's enough people that can crush that thing. But if there isn't, then so be it. God will handle it. Like I told you, Florida, don't take that light ground. What do they call that when it hits that ground? What do they call that in hurricane land? when it breaches that shoreline and then it's only a category 3 or something. Don't take that lightly because it was a category 5. And the way it's working, it could be a category, because if it went category 5 from the other direction, I don't think it would have been a 3. It would have been at least a high 4 coming from the Caribbean. And of course, the water's going to get warmer and warmer, not cooler. So the Republicans, the conspiracy theories are this. They're still denying. I don't deny the weather thing. But what I do deny is that you can do anything about it. Unless, you seek God and God says, okay, I'll flick the switch. And Flannel will go beep and it'll work. There's enough criminals on the planet. I mean, obviously, in the Harris administration, there's going to be criminals, and she should be aware of that. They're going to be there. There's criminals in the Democratic Party. The goal is for her to figure out how to crush them. you shouldn't think that, oh, she's going to go in there and do good things. Because what they'll, against the worst of the worst, let us do this. It's just like me. Meanwhile, the worst of the worst is each one of them. They don't want to stop narcotics distribution. They want to, so that they either simply take kick bribes. Bribes can come in all shapes and forms. Email says invest in their stock shoot because they take the Chinese secret police money, all of the cartel monies, and invest it in Elon during that month. Right after all the people get the email coded to tell. That's how they're paid. And started way. That they indoctrinate that to them, and they know because they were to go do something to somebody at work. We'll go over to Iran and get kidnapped and killed. So after that's done, then they wait to get the email. Oh, boom, $10 million. Maybe not that much, but over time, yes. Else. And of course, CIA itself may be part of it. Bob kind of knew somebody was doing it. That as soon as that email came in, guy goes, look, just like same thing you said when they were trying to kill you in the Marshal Service. Right before I got since that, or actually a little bit before. I walk with just like Enoch. But the weird part is I'm probably the angel part. But again, it's just a spirit. I wasn't supposed to take a body here, but I ended up in a body. And that would have been okay as long as I had him. Never killed the planet. Although there might be a couple other people too. I don't have that information because Satan can read my mind. if I did, he would know who they were. If they in fact exist. Could be because of one person. I mean, God and I are pretty close. And the CIA knows that. Foreign spies know that. Believe me. Believe him. Ooh, believe him. The pumpkin snowman. But yeah, I'm not Jesus, and don't compare me to Jesus. Jesus had a similar but different mission. I'm actually in the Zohar. You know what my mission is. But I guess you didn't. Again, the end result wasn't set in stone back then. Based upon what would happen. Again, I didn't even have to wake up. So Hashem knew I would wake up. Hashem knew they would do this to me because I wouldn't have that mission. of taking out the luminaries and killing their organizations. But again, the next part is the killing of the planet, and that's been forecast for ages also. Planet's already dead and dying. Elon even knows that. You really want to try to fly to Mars on something Elon built while on shrooms? Elon's on shrooms. I know I can get to Mars. No, actually, if I'd have made it into Elon's life somehow, we both would have been much better. It's just like my advice to Trump. He just would listen to me, and people would listen to me. He wouldn't have any trouble. He wouldn't have any trouble. They'd have hated him still, but like the first year they investigated him, but that was off of some stupid shit from what's his name? I think he tried to pull out of it too, but they wouldn't let him. What was that guy saying? Well, it was bona fide, but there was no way in to investigate. Again, this bullshit where you all just make a way in. There's only certain cases where you can use that, and that's like with a kid or something like that, and something real, not the bullshit that you all come up with. So if a kid is really in danger, then you make something up if you have to. But like a Russian investigation, because you sit back and you wait. And obviously Trump would have did something wrong, probably. But you can't, because you screw up the credit of law enforcement and it gets taken captive like it is. Because you all cheated. So again, there was no reason. What's that guy's name? Like the investigator guy who made all them faces in front of the House, or the Senate, whoever he was. I don't remember his name. Him and a girl, a lawyer. They should have just shut it down. I think he was trying to shut it down, and they gave it to what's his name? Forget names tonight. Maybe they don't want their name to remember. But to that guy that used to be the director, probably had people kill me. What was his name? I think he's one of the assassins. Who was the director after 9/11? What was that guy's name? Meanwhile, I'm trying to send messages to agents, and they're trying to accuse me of stuff. Because I could see. I was waking up. I actually woke up before I left the Mars service. I just couldn't figure out what am I supposed to do. I mean, we didn't have X. I'm like, I got information from Bush about the war and the terrorists. It's in the Bible. Because I could see it. God was sending me messages to the Bible. It started because I started reading that they came from the North. And we knew that they came from Canada. And then they made up a bullshit thing about me and Canada. All right. But that's what started me decoding the Bible to figure out what to do with the war and terrorism. Although I've seen from it before. I was more asleep than I was. So I was starting to wake up. I had all this, and that's why they probably killed me spiritually. The reason. Amen. Because they're just devils, and they're actually like serial killers. They get off on it. They get their freak on by killing people with spycraft. They're disgusting. They're pickish people. So I'm like, how do I get to? And like little girl used to say stuff, and I didn't even know like the metaphysical world. But I mean, she was pretty much speaking for Satan, like because it was taunting. Where are you going? All dressed up. I have no idea why she even said it. She like hated on me every day. I guess it was just something to like whack me out. They didn't know how to whack people's minds. But I'm thinking, because I was thinking, I gotta get to the president. I gotta get this information to the president. How do I do that? And then when they put me out, I'm like, wow, I gotta get this information to the FBI. How do I do it? They didn't put me out, but they made it impossible for me to stay. They would have killed me. Killed Luna. Killed Bob. See, that's the game they play. You don't want to leave, you know? I mean, I stayed too long. There's no doubt. Again, I left when God sent the spirits in, and they said, "Okay, look at this. Like here's your leaving earning. Saying you see this category over here." They said, "That's how you doing." All right. And God, they essentially said, "Get on out," and and we didn't go. I didn't go right away. But the weird part is when they started up again, they said, "That's it. Make the phone call your chief, say this. You got to get out of this apartment. Okay, and you'll live with Jim for a while." See what that does is, I didn't know anything, but what that does, that blesses Jim. Jim got blessed because he took care of me for that short period of time. Now, Peg deceived him, and he messed it up. His wife was not the brains of that operation, nor the heart. Right. But I'm not lying. They did probably say I'm lying. So Jim was like, your coworkers are not courageous. It didn't mean anything to me. I had no idea that anything was happening. I was fully asleep. That's what Jim thought about all of you. Now, Jim was struggling with license plates. I'm like, what? Because I'm like, it's when we were and again, this makes sense. So at a certain point, I would play. We had cassettes. So Pastor Hopkins, I would get the cassettes from Pastor Hopkins from Sunday. We'd play them while we were driving the prisoners this way and that way. Most of them was like high security stuff for like almost like a WITSEC, but a local one. So so we were like, they go, "Oh, you got questions about the cassette? What are your questions, my friend?" Well, you could pray this simple prayer. Here's a gospel track. The DEA snitched on me. Oh, inmate had gospel tracks. Our prisoner had gospel tracks. Well, yeah, and think about that DEA guy on Unshackled. Right. See, it's a scam. Because there's a DEA officer or agent on Unshackled that actually led the guy to the Lord. He actually visited him in prison. And then they actually had a relationship after he got out of prison. Again, God knows what God's doing to prove what's going on this planet. So Jim was like, "I hate personalized license plates." I'm like, what? They did his head, man. I didn't know it. And maybe they're trying to get him to hate on me or something. That could have been it. They did it to my mother. So yeah, that's probably that's what they were doing, probably. Try to get Jim to hate on me. Jim Spicer, retired state trooper captain. I called him, and then somebody what do they do when they block it? I don't remember what they do, but they blocked my number. I'm like, I don't think it was Jim. It could have been, but I don't think so. Unless somebody may have called him and said, "No, he's under investigation for 50 cold cases." "Oh no, we know it's him now, Jim." FBI agent, yeah. Yeah. It was all bullshit. Right. And of course, they want me to think that Jim double crossed me. He didn't. They just gave him faulty information. Look, Jim thought it was a deal that I would, retire because, seriously, there were people there that were guilty of killing Jonathan Luna with intention using psychology. I can't tell you who it was. They were trying to do the same thing to me. There was an investigation somewhere into them, but they killed that investigation with another investigation. So again, the CIA was part of it, and that type of people, so they had the capability to know that there was an investigation into what was happening in my life, what was happening in Jonathan Luna's life. So they killed that investigation by, actually extorting everybody that was part of it, just about. So when I left the government and the senator got my retirement, the deal was this, hey, they're going to let you move on now. I had to go to the senator later They lied. So Jim thought there was like, going to be an amicable thing, but that's where Peg comes in. And Jim goes, well, Peg and I, but see, Peg told him that I was going to move to Glen Rock. I don't know how he told her that. Because I never said I was going to move to Glen Rock in an apartment. So Jim thought I was going to be near my family. There's a setup. But anyway, I told my wife, we got kids, let's get back together. Supposedly my gay lover called me that night, or called her that night. And I'm like, what? Now, it could have been the guy she's with, but remember, the government set it all up. The anti-government, that's the government. So, yeah, I don't even feel like they should be called the government. But it could have been like, Slickster putting somebody up to it. Oh, they wiretapping the co-workers. Let's look at that. Little girl, Slickster laughing. This is responsible government. They said they'll go to hell, man. Again, the scripture speaks about sin unto death. It's not very clear about all that it means, but they've committed the sin unto death and they will go to hell. They're not even supposed to be healed or prayed for. Now, of course, I've healed some of them. I've healed them before, the end date where God said, that's it. They know I heal. So I'm like online and I get to the FBI. What is it? So I'm looking at the FBI agents because I'm in the head with FBI agents somehow. I just don't know who it is. Of course, I had friends that were like, work friends or agents, but I'm in the head with them. And I get to this, for some reason, I went to the FBI Agents Association or whatever they call it. And so I see, what's this say? Oh, leave donation, for illness or issues in their family. So they have this page, and I look it up, and it's like they block me from it like the next day because for me, it's like a prayer list. So essentially, the FBI blocks me from praying for them, praying for the people that have needs, like people with illness, chronic illnesses, and maybe family issues. No, I knew there were terrorists in Mount Laurel. I mean, of all places in the world, right? So I tried sending messages where I would like have a backpack on and I'd like pull, like I was pulling a string, go, ah, just trying to, I didn't know what to do. Again, I had never been psychic and I'd never been disconnected from, military or law enforcement like that. It's traumatic, man, what they did. Very traumatic. I'm lucky to just even be able to think. It was designed so I wouldn't investigate anything. It was designed so I wouldn't even like look at news articles, about crime and all that. So it worked for a little while, but they wouldn't stay away. So I guess God said, that's it. That part's over. Let's get involved. Well, I'm sure God said, okay, we're gonna walk away. We're not going to say anything. We'll see what happens. They cheated. So they can't come back later and go, oh, it's because he's speaking up. It's because he's speaking up. oh, no, they didn't honor it. We would honor it. They're full of shit. Like I said, they have a million different psychological operations attempting to make a mass shooter, attempting to make a rapist, attempting to make somebody sexual out of order. They're disgusting. They're piggish people. I said that when I was here last time in this spot. Not intending to, but I am. I guess I am is intending to. That's God. All right, actually, it's almost an hour. I'll probably wait for an hour and then go in. It's been a long time, man. Believe me, everything I said is the truth. That's no little thing what they do. They have committed the sin unto death over and over and over again. They will die in hell over and over and over again. but yet, still have consciousness. So really, if you heal, well, the reason I say to heal, why don't you heal us? I tried, didn't I? The Arabic people have not been healed by the Israelis. I know that for a fact. In fact, they've been psychologically operated and cursed to become terrorists. But for that, or even though that happened, but for God, they didn't all become terrorists. That's their will. That's Israel's will for every Arab to be a terrorist. All right, something happened there. It disconnected. I guess they're cursing me harder because I want to wait till an hour. No, we won't. We'll go in now. Boy, it is so quiet here, and it's still early. Strange. I guess because it's getting dark early, people don't realize that it's not late. So yeah, you'd have to see if Mr. Beast is some sort of indoctrination. See how Mr. Beast was created. I know spies created him. I just don't know which spies. So it may be an indoctrination for people to worship money. I know he says, but it's the perfect beast thing. Is he really doing charity? What is his mind? It doesn't matter. He could, if he's addicted to being the charity person, he could create 1 million people's needs for charity just so he can come along and go, aren't I wonderful? Worship me. That's why the New Testament is very important. I mean, Jews have it within their stuff, and I think some rabbis have taught on New Testament without telling you it was. Well, and again, this information was available prior to the coming of Rabbi Yeshua ben David, Jesus, but he expounded on it and became more direct about it. So essentially, he says, again, the Christians change it. Like when he speaks about little ones, he doesn't speak about children solely, and he's not really speaking about children, although children are included. He speaks about humble people. And if you cause them to fall, and again, when you think about God, the information that the Son Jesus put out, Ben Elohim, when you put it to Hashem, it's a way of Hashem getting his information out also to say, look, how do you think Hashem would be? Knowing that you're all causing these other people to fall and then calling them a sinner or a criminal or a terrorist. A lot of it spells. Again, things can't be healed if people don't have the heart to heal it. So that's what you're all seeing. If people go, well, healing doesn't work. Well, it does. They can't heal. They're devils. Well, I'm only a devil over here, not over there. It doesn't work like that. So again, I still recommend that the law enforcement in the schools directly approach teachers regularly about seeking help before they do anything to the children. Tell them that, you don't have to tell us what it is or anything, just go seek help. Again, a psychologist can heal a person, a psychiatrist can heal a person, even without medicine, if it's early enough. So and again, if it's in their mind, hey, look, we know you're thinking about it. No, we're only kidding. But yeah, we need to. Well, because I analyze what it is constantly because they're projecting it at me, and it's a very dark place, a very isolated place. So if we don't allow them to be isolated and don't allow an isolated, oh, see, he's telling on himself. FBI psychology, move away. Everybody knows you're all fraudsters. Let's get the truth out. So as they project that, if we keep them engaged in a certain mindset and maybe even proactive somehow, I don't know, come up with something proactive where they're actually the other side. But I guess, that is true. The resource officers fall too. But I think, again, when we look at resource officers, how disconnected are they from the larger service? Again, they go in, they work at a school, and that's it. Half the teachers are thinking about raping the kids anyway. I'm just kidding. But again, we need to fix it, and I think we need to talk about it openly. But we can't tell you not to talk about it, but just whatever you need to do to get away from the children, you get away from the children, and don't return until your mind's right. Just be honest. I mean, it's happening. It's a phenomenon. It's a plague. Again, spells. It really is spells and spycraft. Now, I can't tell you how each person is being caused to fall. I've watched what they do. Believe me, how they increase it when they think they're getting you to be a certain way. Again, these people are being caused to be pedophiles. There's no doubt. Could be Putin. Could be our own people. I don't know. Like Putin could sit there and say, "Oh, you're all perverts in the USA." Look, do you think Putin was ever a pervert? I mean, I don't know, but it seems like he's projecting. Well, Trump was a pervert. Look, Howard Stern was a pervert. Now Howard Stern's like Mother Teresa, right? You caused this, Stern. You'll go to hell. I think part of what Stern was doing, God does create comfort for people that we outcast. And that would be one of the ways that God would do it, because they can't refrain from it. They have to be trans. So Howard Stern was one of the first people to speak about trans openly and kind of give them a little bit of a way. I mean, yeah, it was sexualized, but I think that's what it was. They were all being sexualized. So Howard Stern kind of normalized it. Again, you can't play that game. I know for a fact that the people in conservative world and in religions are projecting sexuality and then saying you shouldn't be it. I was touched sexually by women working for police departments, and they were part of the church, longtime members of church. So I know what's going on. I didn't know then. See, Satan got fooled. They never thought I'd wake up. 100%. I mean, obviously, I didn't run up and try to date them, but that was probably the scam to see if I'd run up and try to have sex with them or something. And then you're in the church, right? We got the goods on them. Now you can stay. He tried to have sex with our church member. Trump could actually just be some mentally retarded person. Really, he really is. I mean, he definitely has autism, but he has also that narcissism kind of going. That may be his reaction to autism, the discomfort. I do this. They put autism in my life. I'm sure of it. Oh, they put like 1 million mental illnesses. I've healed from 1 million mental illnesses, and they put another 1 million back in. What do you think God's going to do to them in hell? I mean, think about it. So let's just directly. Again, you're going to probably run into these people. They're going to extort you. They're going to tell you no. So you got to take the world back over for God, or it's going to be over for the world. Maybe even over for you if you're in a position of responsibility, because when you have that authority, much is expected. Well, we need to look. The key is this, and I keep bringing it up. They're doing the reverse. Every time somebody in our nation who grew up here commits a crime, we failed as a nation. I know how it works. We couldn't keep that person healed. That's what really happened. So sex crime is no different. And there's actually people that are psychologically operating. They're addicted to manipulating the person. It's essentially the end times. They are acting as if they are God. They sit in, I guess the son of perdition will sit in the temple above all things that are God. But it's actually happening metaphysically. Do you understand how that plays out? Like I told you, the rapture is happening metaphysically. God has taken me to places where there are raptures in the ghost world. In the Bible, they call it, and in the script, Torah, they call it ghost world. So there's a bunch of people on this planet. And again, it's kind of like purgatory, but I guess different. And they're here, but they haven't left. They've left the body, but they're still here. And there's people that see it that way. I'm sure. A lot of people don't talk about it. So they're still here. Jesus, I didn't know Rabbi Yeshua David was part of it. That didn't come until like years later. So I'm seeing these raptures. And I'm seeing people. I mean, the emotion is immense. I'm just like, hey. And I guess I reported on one online. I have a recording of it somewhere, and I sound like the guy with the Hindenburg. And and it's just amazing. But what's happening is, as a seer, God gives me the vision into it, and the sun opens up. Like when you see the rays of the sun coming down. I don't know if every one of those is a rapture, but I know the ones I've seen in Santa Fe were raptures. And essentially, the sky opens up, the sun shoots those rays down, and there's angels that go down and up those rays. And there's people on the ground, including one was a demon, and he was ugly and all that, like what a demon looks like, and at least people have seen in their mind. And the angels, the ray touches the angel. I mean, touches the fallen angel, the demon, and then it turns right back into an angel, but it still couldn't fly. So the angels came down, picked it up. So these things that people see, people find they're stupid. Well, aren't they projecting what the birds are? But it doesn't matter. God can do anything. So God can make that. And God's again, read Judaism has it a little bit. I don't know if Christianity has it, I think some, and the other religions. God works with creation. So creation says, well, I like things that fly. But look, there's an angel that flies. Oh, wow, Hashem, that looks great. Did you see that? So Hashem is that kind of God in reality. Those immense. I'm because I'd be spent afterwards. Because I just witnessed the rapture and connected to it. I'd be all whacked out. I'm gonna go lay down. But years after I saw it, I mean, it had to be at least 10 years after I started seeing it. Maybe I guess about 10 years. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at the rapture, and also, and it zeroes in on the ground, and there's Rabbi Yeshua ben David standing there. And this is what he did. This is one of the things he did in the afterlife. He would go into that place where ghosts reside on this planet, and he would say whatever he says to preach, and he says, "Go here." You have to get your mind to do it again. Again, if you're possessed in that world, you may not say, "Oh, okay, the same thing is here." But he'll say, "Go to this location, 3 days from now," or something like that, and there'll be a rapture. Or he may even say, "Meet me here 3 days from now in this specific location." A big one was by Walmart. Walmart in Santa Fe. Some of that area around there. I don't know the history of that area, or I may have come up with, there's no reason it's just getting louder. They do this all the time. All right, let me see. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Let's hear loud. Let's turn it down. All right, here we go again. Something's wrong with it. They probably did it. Could take the microphone away. away from my mouth. I guess that's pretty good. I don't have all the information, but they would go to these places, and then there would be a rapture. So the Walmart on the south side of Santa Fe, I think it is. I don't know. I think I did find the history of that area. It may have been native land. I can't remember, but that's where a lot of raptures would take place in that area. And then the people would be crying because I'm feeling it, and I'm in a body in a different kind of like, I don't know, a zone or whatever, realm or however they do that. I'm not in that metaphysical spiritual place. I'm here in the physical place, and I'm experiencing it like, oh my God. So these people are being touched by God and healed in an instant. But they're just crying, and the angels are carrying them up. Pretty immense. So I knew the raptures were happening for quite some time now. So the question is, will they ever be physical? Maybe not. The planet does change over time. Prophecy does change over time. But I can assure you that there are people that remain on this planet, and they're being raptured. After they die, they remain on this planet, and they are being raptured.